my goodness, where are my keys? Where's my wallet? What time is it? It's time for the O Wrestling Podcast. I am your host, CW, and today we're talking about the Elimination Chamber, the craziest structure ever conceived. 6 people enter, 1 person leaves for some purpose, whether it be they win a title or an opportunity to wrestle for a title or to kick off Kofi Mania or to, it can be used for a variety of reasons, I would say. What's up, everyone? Thank you for listening. Make sure to hit that bell, subscribe to the podcast on any and all platforms. I totally appreciate you. Let's get into this. Do you like the Elimination Chamber? Are you a wrestling fan? Have you watched a pay-per-view with the metal structure inside there? It is definitely an interesting gimmick match. I do appreciate it. I think it was diluted over the years when it became its own pay-per-view, and then it had like 2 or 3 Elimination Chamber matches. Really sort of waters down the spectacle of it. I believe there's been over 30 Elimination Chamber matches since it was introduced in 2007, which is a lot. There's a lot of Elimination Chambers for, that large of a structure to have so many different matches. There's 6 people in each iteration. That's a lot. But with, I believe, gimmick pay-per-views kind of going away, or not going away, but getting reduced and kind of those matches being the marquee match, hopefully it has a bit more cachet moving forward. The upcoming Elimination Chamber is on the men's side for the U.S. title, and I believe there is a women's Elimination Chamber match as well. I can't recall. I only heard of the qualifying matches for the men's side, so forgive me if I'm blanking. But I do hope that there is a ladies' Elimination Chamber. That would be dope. The current one for the U.S. title, apparently, given wrestling rumors, is that because Roman Reigns and Sami Zayn are going to be wrestling each other at Elimination Chamber, that's the rumored match, I think, that it doesn't matter what the Elim Chamber is for. I am of the mind that having it be for the U.S. title simply elevates the title even more, which is probably more in line with what Triple H is thinking. It's not that it's a throwaway match and then Roman and Sami are the marquee. It's that the U.S. title has to be a marquee title. And for me, over the years, the IC title has always been the secondary title. There's the heavyweight championship and then the tag team championships. Apparently those are on the same level. And then directly below that is the IC title. And then below that has always been the US title. They were never really on the same level for me. And I think a lot of people felt the same way. That's why they've tried so very, very hard to elevate the US title to a position akin to the IC title. They tried to say, the US title's on this show and the IC title's on that show and they're the same, and it's like, but they're not. They're not. The IC title has more history. It has more love behind it from the fans. The US title, in relation to the IC title, is relatively new to the company, not to wrestling in general. But having it be the prize of the U.S. Of the Elimination Chamber does help. And given that the Elimination Chamber is a fun match, it lends itself to some really interesting pairings. 2 people start off, 4 people are in the 4 corners of the cage, and every 90 seconds or some odd number, it always changes. Someone gets let out of the chamber and enters the match. And then after all 4 people are out and all 6 people are wrestling, you get these really weird high spots where people will climb the cage or climb one of the booths and kind of dive off. People have climbed to the top of the cage and felt, I think it was Rey Mysterio, he climbed all the way to the top and then did an elbow drop or a body drop or some crap off of that. And Kofi had his epic Kofi Mania moments in the cage, and there's just been a lot of great matches. And then if you want to get really nerdy, if you play the Elimination Chamber in the video game, you can decimate people by just completely slamming them through the metal grates on the outside. It's a great match. I've had a lot of fun playing that match in the 2K games, tossing people through the cage doors and sort of just trying to DDT people on the outside until they're just stunned completely and out of it. My only problem with that is that the AI always takes over and gets superhuman. I remember I think I was wrestling Samoa Joe in 2K19 in the Elimination Chamber, and he is impossible to beat for some reason. I'm terrible at video games, but having that dude just he would just aggro up and he would not go down. He would reverse everything. His finishing move would just destroy you. It was impossible. I think that was the last. It was a story mission, and he was just wrecking me. And I think I just stopped playing. I was like, I don't want to do this anymore. I'm bad at this. I don't want to play. I don't want to play anymore. But anyway, yeah, the Elimination Chamber is going to have I think a great setup. Outside of the Roman versus Sami match, which, again, I think everyone has said it. Everyone has called it. It's the best wrestling story right now. And some are calling it the best wrestling story in history. I don't know enough about like the stories in wrestling history to call it that, but it's certainly the most drama that professional wrestling has had in quite a long time. It's very engaging, it's emotional, and the best thing about the story is that it's adaptive. Like, Sami Zayn wasn't meant to be part of the bloodline for this long. I think they said it was supposed to be 3 weeks, and then he was supposed to shuffle off to do something else, and people loved him so much that they left him there. And now we're almost up on a year of him, interacting with the bloodline, and we're getting to kind of the end of that story with Sami, and it's become one of the greatest stories in wrestling. And I think it's facilitating what I've been saying: main event Jay turning on Roman and going after one of the titles. I need it to happen. I know some people say that Jay should break up the bloodline but not get the title. I'm on the other side, where I'm like, he should take one or both of the titles off of Roman Reigns. Every one of these episodes ends up talking about this bloodline thing. Let's get back on track. The Elimination Chamber. There is a women's Elimination Chamber where the winner will be facing Bianca Belair for the Raw Women's Championship, since Rhea Ripley chose Charlotte Flair. The current participants for that is Raquel Rodriguez, the big powerhouse, returning Asuka with her kind of murder clown gimmick, Liv Morgan, and for some reason Nikki Cross. I believe it's because the Asuka, Liv, and Nikki were in the final four of the Royal Rumble, and then Raquel is being pushed to the moon right now, so she's in there too. And the final two will be decided with a couple matches in the next couple of weeks, I believe. So I don't know who should go in there. Rhea Ripley already won, and everyone knows she's going to, face Charlotte and probably lose. I don't know. It's hard to book Charlotte. She's always winning, and she always has that title. She's like, what? She's already like the 16-time women's champion. It's ridiculous. Hopefully Rhea goes over, because I think her having the title in the Judgment Day would be an amazing thing. That also means that the Judgment Day post WrestleMania is probably moving to SmackDown. My guess is to take on the Bloodline for some reason. But I think Michin, her coming back and kind of getting stalled out because AJ Styles got hurt, she deserves a shot at one of the titles. And I don't know, maybe Candice LeRae, or bring up Roxanne Perez from NXT to face these ladies in the Elimination Chamber. Anyway, thank you so much for listening to the O Wrestling Podcast. Who do you want to see in some Elimination Chamber matches? Let me know in the comments. Remember to hit the bell, subscribe to the podcast on any and all platforms, and don't you ever forget,
I'm your friend, but if I ever see you in the ring, I can beat you. Don't you know? Yeah, yeah, yeah.